Chris Cuomo here. Welcome to NewsNation. This is where right and left come the unreasonable. Barely a day has passed since Catholic kids en masse were gunned down by another deranged young American in Minneapolis, if you haven't heard. 18 injured, 2 dead, aged 8 and 10. But you knew that. There is, however, more information to know, and we learned it today. So let's begin with Brian Entin on scene in Minneapolis with the latest. Brian, what did we learn?
Yeah, a lot came out today, Chris. There are thousands of pages of writings connected to the shooter. We knew about the manifesto that was posted on YouTube, but police today said they found thousands more of writings, is what they call them, journal entries, that more than anything, and this is the part that I think is the most disturbing, more than anything, the shooter wanted to kill children. The acting U.S. attorney said the shooter wanted to watch children suffer, and that was repeated over and over again in these journal entries, that he hated all groups, and they named a few, including blacks, Christians, Jews, Mexicans. The police chief said he appeared to hate all of us. And parts of this journal, it's interesting, were actually in Russian. So we had to get a translator to go through some of these parts. And I just got this part translated. This is something he allegedly wrote. I am sick of my hair. I want to chop it off. I only keep it because it is pretty much my last shred of being trans. I am tired of being trans. I wish I never brainwashed myself. I can't cut my hair off now, as it would be an embarrassing defeat, and it might be a concerning change of character that could get me reported. It just always gets in my way. I will probably chop it off the day of the attack, apparently referring to the attack here at the school. A few other things. I want to show you this video from outside the church. This is interesting, Chris. You can see where the windows are now. We were able to get right up to the church, and you can see these, there they are, these skinny windows, which are typical for churches, and they're boarded up now because that's what he shot through. But he knew, the police said, because he had gone to this church, that the pews lined up directly with the windows. So all of the kids were sitting in the pews, second day of school en masse, and they say that he knew if he shot through those windows that he would hit so many children. Chris?
But again, you could look at it a different way, Brian. First of all, thank you for the reporting, but, that's a pretty narrow aperture, and in truth, it's relatively modern architecture, right? Most churches had a lot more glass on them, even in that part of the country. But if he had entered the building, now I'm not giving him any credit for grace or lenience or anything like that, just choices. Shooting through that narrow pane did a lot of damage. If he had entered the building, it would have been a different order of magnitude. Thank you very much, Brian Entin, for being there and doing the job for all of us at NewsNation. Appreciate you. Now, I'll tell you what, I don't want Brian to have to own what I'm going to say right now. But, you're all about transparency, right? You want to know where we are, right? You don't want to have to guess, right? Good. Do you think it would have mattered if he had entered that building and killed 50 kids? Do you think it would matter for what? 2 more days? 3 more days? You think anything would change? I'll tell you why they would change. What if the 50 kids in there belong to all the tech bros? What if the 50 kids in there belong to all U.S. senators or members of the House? Then something would happen. Yes. Why? Because then you can't escape the compunction, the guilt, the need to act on it, the regret, the desperation to do something so it doesn't happen again. So nobody has to feel what you feel in that moment. You know why that language comes so easily to me? Because I've heard it from so many parents of dead kids. That's why. I've heard it so many times, and I've had to look at them and listen to them and their entreaties that we don't want anybody to go through this again. We've got to do something. And I'm like, yeah, you got to let me know. How can I help? And I'm there, and I'll take the phone, and I'll do what I can, and I'll platform them with their programs. But I almost feel like I need to look at them and say, hey, listen, take care of yourself. Take care of the people that you can. Do not put your expectations on the rest of us, because you're going to deal with another tragedy. So we know the facts. But is it really about the facts? No, it's about how we feel about them, or how we choose not to feel. Do you hear that? I hear a jazz concert going on downtown, but you know what you hear? Nothing. The sound of all the lawmakers letting this moment pass. The ones who find the suggestion that it is too soon to do anything but mourn. Now is the time to act. Where are they? It's already gone. It's not even a top trending item anymore. Not for the families. Like I told you, the families are in shock. They're just starting to process what's been lost. Their lives and those of the first responders and the staff who are all bathed in the carnage, they are forever changed. But the rest of us, it's not even close. Social media is onto other silliness. What did they put in the vaccine? Our leaders on the left, where are the big names at? Where are you? Looking for a platform. It only matters if Trump shot up the place. Not as motivating as socialism. This is the time to fight the good fight and point the finger about, hey, we'll work with you. Let's do something. But they're not the ones with power. The right is. And they're doing more to defend the idea of offering thoughts and prayers, and don't criticize that, than finding ways to defend our kids. You think that's WWJD kind of thinking? Secretary Kristi Noem tweeted about the shooting yesterday once, then an hour later was posting about 5,000 arrests in Los Angeles. Nothing since. Homeland Security. Senator Minority Leader Chuck Schumer. Once. Moved on. Trump sucks. AOC, Hakeem Jeffries. One tweet. Really? Free bus all day, right? Free everything, free this, free that, all day. Trump is an autocrat. He's got to go all day. Dead kids in a church, one and done. The president tweeted twice about the shooting. Once about ordering flags flown at half-staff, and then he moved on to going after Illinois Governor J.B. Pritzker. I think the president has an opportunity here. He should take this issue on as an extension of his crime push. The majority is feeling it. Everybody wants to be safer. The energy that does remain in this is committed to animus, looking at the situation, digging into the motives, and cherry-picking to an advancement of an agenda. Now, I personally have always been shy on motive. Why? Because I've learned over time that most of these people are diseased of mind at a minimum. So what do I care what they were thinking? It's coming from crazy brain. But this guy, this murderer, has something for everyone. He was trans, everything you want to demonize. He was trans, he regretted he was trans. He's a trans who supposedly was anti-Trump, anti-Semitic, anti-God, as he wrote on some of the magazines, and apparently anti-Catholic. It's like every agenda is trying to take a piece and say, see what we told you? That's who you should fear. You should fear them. There are actually people on social media, serious thinkers, serious people, who are putting up charts and saying, oh boy, should we have a conversation about the threat of trans people in society? Because 4 out of 4,400, 4 of them, between 2013 and whenever they finished measuring, like 2023 or 25, whatever it is. That's how many? Oh, yeah, but as a percentage of how many people say they're trans, that's pretty high. Will you stop? We got it. We got it. You want to scare us about people being different and others. We got it. We got the division. It worked. You peaked. It's all extreme all the time. Does any warm-blooded mammal really believe that transgender people are the predators in our society? But for them, we'd be better off. Come on. The reactions and takes are so pathetic, it's almost a good thing that this story fades as quickly as it is. And yet, there are 2 things I want you to take notice of before we move on, all right? 1, the obvious. No matter what they said or what they say if they're ever asked about it, you now know no one in power cares enough to actually do anything about this one day after. One day. And the calls have quieted. And it's not like it has to be about guns. I get the impasse. But it's not guns or do nothing. Ask the Sandy Hook people. They will tell you that they have prevented over a dozen incidents in schools by teaching people how to identify those who have gone down deep, dark holes and could be, God forbid, capable of something as violent as this. Nothing to do with the gun piece, and yet it works. But we can't even do that. We're cutting the funding for mental health. And of course, there's a gun piece. You think it's just pure coincidence that during the assault weapons ban, this wasn't a thing? But nobody wants to compromise on anything because everyone is playing to advantage all the time where any kind of cooperation or yielding is weakness and failure. And that takes me to my second problem. We should notice, before we're all forced to see it in blood again, and we will, this shooting is not about one person. It is a reflection of what this society accepts. Just by its quick moving on past is acceptance of it. See this. Our society is surrendering to extremism. I have been saying it, fundamentalism, extremism, whatever you want to call it, okay? Outrageous, one-sided, black and white, and beyond reasoning. It's happening all the time in ways big and small. This 4 people out of 4,400 and they want to make it a thing, that's extreme, okay? That's not reasonable. You're so desperate to make a point to demonize somebody that you are twisting a nothing number. Why? Because it works for you. I then read another piece in the Free Press, which I love. I'm a big Barry Weiss fan, about how this is proof. She didn't write it, but it was in Free Press. She runs it. Proof of America's nihilism on display. I disagree. Nihilism is a philosophical understanding of nothing mattering, that there is no value in anything. There's no value in virtue. It doesn't matter what you do in the ultimate scheme of things. And for some, whether there is any real thing as truth to begin with. That's not what this is philosophically or politically. This guy, having all these conflicting agendas that were all just directionally towards outrage and hate, right? Why didn't he just say, I hate everybody and everything? Because the categories are currency these days. That's why. I hate everybody. That's what my generation said, Gen X. We hate everybody. Not now. Everybody's a type. Everything's an ism, right? So he's got to say, I don't like the trans, I don't like that I'm trans, I don't like this, I don't like this anti-Semite, I don't like that, I don't like this. Everything's in a category. It's all currency. But just look at the reactions to this. One side, white hot about how this is the other to blame. Everything's a gotcha. Everything is twisted for advantage and pulling little pieces of something that works for you. We are all division all the time, and that's exactly what was on display with this madman. And everything comes down to violence. Of course, there are more of these than during the assault weapons ban, than before social media, than before politics became a podcast-driven blood sport. See what it is, and see who gets what it is, and, God willing, wants to do something about it to make us better. Thank you for watching. Subscribe below and download our NewsNation app right now on your phone, and you will get fact-based, unbiased news for all Americans.